link on my Facebook and a few groups. Okay, I think we're good now.
Should we wait for a few more minutes for the audience to come?
Hold on then.
It's not streaming.
Yes. Let me start with. So share that in our group as well.
Oh, it's live now. Okay.
Yes.
น้องเหมียว
Yes.
miss you.
See me at my school then.
Oh, your school.
Huh?
It's
near
pretty
boarding
far.
school.
Huh?
Near boarding to school, you can.
But now I live far away. Please come to the city to meet me.
That would be too difficult for me.
Take a day leave.
Okay, so I have already shared the link. So shall we then start?
Yes,ครับ. Okay. Good evening. I hope that you have joined our session. My name is Bandit Pansri. I will be one of the main moderators for this learning community session to share our experiences of conducting remote learning, okay, at different schools. And today we all are here according to the invitation from Dr. Jutharath Vibunporn. Thank you very much for inviting us all here. And I am not here alone. I have come with 3 teachers from 3 different schools. And can you show yourself, please? สวัสดีครับคุณเหมียว
สวัสดีค่ะ
ครับครูเพลง
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ and ครูนัทครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
ครับ Shall we make it natural by using the nicknames? Is that okay?
Yes, why?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And again, as I said, I am just one of the main moderators, and I will ask most of the questions listed. But Ajandi or Dr. Jutharath will also join us for some follow-up questions when something interesting comes up. Okay, and
Okay, before we start, maybe I talk just briefly. Thank you for everyone to come and join us today. The session was first, designed for the class that I'm now teaching at the faculty, right? And the students who are the main audience for today are the ones who are preparing themselves for the practice teaching and also future teaching, right? But since we've got a few resource persons here, so I thought if we could share this session in public, that might be useful. And so I invited Pinat Bandit to help become the moderator of the session.
Thank
Right?
you.
And then I can pay attention to your responses more closely. So thank you, Pinat, to help with moderating this session. And let's now just get started. And
Okay. Thank you very much, Kap. So first of all, let's get to know our guests a bit more. So can I ask you all to introduce yourselves a bit, not only about who you are, but also the what circumstances of your teaching situation, the school, and what kind of learning are you providing for your students? Please.
Okay. May I start?
Sure.
Okay, so hi everyone. I am Rachada Puchong Jalan. You can call me Kru Miao, or Pi Miao, whatever. And I am now teaching at Triam Udom Suksa Nom Kao School, teaching M6. And now for my school, since we have to teach the school on site, but the students have the choices, like they can learn at school, or they can stay at home and learn online. So it is a little bit difficult for me to teach both on site and online at the same time.
Okay. Pretty challenging. Thank
Yes.
you. What about Kunat Cup? Oh,
before we move on, Mio, what's the proportion of the students who come to school?
The student who come to school will be no more than 6 for my class. Just only 6 students in my class, or even 1 student sometimes. It's different each day. So I have to be like get the information every morning.
So it'll be like 6 versus 40.
What? Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Nong Nat Cup.
สวัสดีค่ะ You can call me Kunat นะคะ I'm now teaching secondary students at Sathit Prasanmit Demonstration School. And in January, our school was using 100% online classes. But starting from February the 1st, we are using the hybrid classes like PMIO. Yeah, so the students can choose whether they want to study at school or to study online. But there will be specific days for like, okay, so Monday, only the lower secondary students will be at home, and then like switching. But the proportion of the students is different from PMIO's school. I have more students on site.
Good.
So you're saying that your students prefer to come to
school
classes, right? Okay. So different from Kun Miao situation. About Kun Playing Cup.
I am playing. I'm teaching Mathium 6 student at student school. Yeah, and for the teaching now in my school, the students are divided into 2 groups in each class from the student number, like group A, group B, from like group A odd number and group B even number. So they have to like switch to learn to study on site at school, and I have to like teach them on site and online at the same time in the class. Yeah, so like the same content, the same activity on like in the same class, something like that. And like, yeah, and some students can choose if they like feel uncomfortable to go to school, so they can choose online, because like in this area, like they are like feel uncomfortable to go to school now because like some news about the COVID-19 situation. Yeah.
So you're saying that most students prefer to learn on in the remote learning situation, right?
Not at all.
For the safety.
Like some group, yeah, for their safety, like some group of students.
I see. Okay. Now we have learned about who you are and what schools you are teaching, as well as the situations of the students coming to the classes, on-site classes, and prefer to stay home. Now let's.
Right. I
Yes.
have a question, because this is something that is very not normal, right? Normally we'll just decide whether to teach them in class or to arrange the class online, right? Can you explain a little bit in more details, just for people who have never seen? I don't think that my students have seen this kind of class. So the teacher is in the classroom, right? You are in the
Yes.
classroom, and some students are with you in the classroom,
Mm-hmm.
and another group of students are at home. So can you help explain a little bit, how do you run the activity? So what do you actually do to support both groups at the same time? So say, for example, if you are like teaching one topic, so can someone help give us that kind of visual?
For me, my school is using Microsoft Team application. So what I did or usually do is I ask all of the students, both online and on site, to join the meeting, so that if there is like Q&A section for bonus points, they will get like equal chance of like getting their hand raised, and then I'll call their names. And like I usually use wireless microphone so that I can walk out around the class and ask some students to talk, and then the students at home will hear that clearly. But that depends on the class I am teaching in, because in some classes when the microphone doesn't work, I'll have to just carry the iPad and shout into that iPad so that the student in both online and on site will hear me clearly.
See, so you're like pretty much like broadcasting your class
Yes.
to the online group. Okay. Is that the same, similar to your class?
For me, I used Google Meet, since my school has the Gmail for the school. So we tend to use Google Meet all the time when we have to do the live session. So what I do is, normally if I teach in the regular class, I normally stand and then teach the student, maybe some time walking around. But for the online teaching like this time, I rather sit, and then I have to share the screen. So I have to write things down and show the student on the screen as well, while trying to communicate with the student in the class. So I think that my focus had to be shift on site, and the things that the student type in the chat box online. So I have to like switching my focus for both groups of the student.
I see.
Yeah, for me, like Pimeo, like for this week, like is the first week for the new way of teaching like this, because the last week we just like online. Yeah, and this week we have to carry on the online and on site at the same time. So I need to like switch to like online on site to check their like understanding, or they need some help. But some student help me to like go into the online meeting and help me to check their friends, like, oh teacher, my friend have some questions, like oh teacher, my friend like cannot hear you, like something like that. So they so did the same way of Pimeo, and then like yeah, I think this is like is quite challenge me to like to talk to online student and on-site student at the same time.
Practicing our multitasking skills.
Yes.
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard.
Right.
Yeah, and I think like we need to like depend on the technology, because I think that my question is that if like in class we cannot use the internet or computer in class, so how can we like manage online student to learn in the same content in the same time? So I think this is my question that I cannot find the
So
yeah.
so now that we are doing, you know, this online
Yeah.
at school,
Yes.
does the school provide the Wi-Fi for
Yeah.
the
Wi-Fi and
teaching?
computer.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes, Mio. You laugh.
I would like to say something about this. Yes, the school give us Wi-Fi, but sometimes we lost connection. So what I have to prepare myself is that I have to get my cell phone with me all the time, and I use the hotspot. It is more reliable than the school Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. All right.
I see.
And this is again is the newest, I think, mode of teaching, right? Because last semester it was like either online or on site, right? And also the beginning of the year, we started the year with online only for a few weeks, right?
Yes.
And now hybrid.
Yes,
Okay.
and since these experiences are quite new to all of us, all of the teachers around the world, I would like to hear more about what is your overall assessment of the learning quality of the students in the classes? How do you think you have done so far?
For the evaluation part, right? This is, for me, it is a little bit problematic since my school has decided like to give 10 marks for the midterm exam, and the other point will be collected from their task and their past participation. So for the test, as I observed, just only some students who share the screen like during the test. So let's say that they copy their friend's answer, and but I knew that they did it because my test, at first I think that this test will not gonna have this issue, but still there will be some issue like copying, because my test tend to focus more on the reading comprehension, and they have to type in sentences just to answer my question. They have to read the newspaper and answer the question by typing. So, and the question will be shuffled from this class and another class. It will not be the same set of questions, but still the student were just smart enough to find way to copy their friend's answer, but it's just like word for word copying. So that's why I know who did that. For the other, I just use the tags, like having them doing the reading record by writing and summarizing what they have read at home, and then take the picture, send it via line, put it in the album, so it is easier to check whether they did it or not. And another task is we have to teach them English, right? But the students tend to be silent in my class by just typing in the chat box rather than just using microphone and speak it out. So I have them to do the task like dubbing project, so that they can exercise themselves and speak up a little bit, not just only remain silent every time that we have the class. So I have this kind of task as well.
You mean you have them record their voices?
Yes. Yeah.
To help practice their speaking skills, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So can we say that whatever you are now observing, in terms of that performance now is the result of a certain period of time of the remote teaching? Can I make that conclusion? So if that's the situation, my question now is comparing, between the learning on site, the regular learning in the classroom, and now that they have been, on these different modes of learning, how much does this remote classroom affect their learning? So have they performed more poorly than when you teach them on site, or their performance, doesn't, it's not that different from the in-class learning?
For my classes, I found out that it's not poor. Like something weird happened. Like the class size of my higher secondary students were like 35 to 40 something, and that's really big class. Then when I was teaching online, the boys who were like sitting at the back of the class, usually they slept in my classes before, but when they are online, I found out that they were awake all the time, and like they were trying to tease me by raising their hands, but like I just called on them to answer some questions, and they did. Like this is really different from when they were at school. So I think for some students, their learning quality improved by a very weird situation. But they really participated in my class.
So they were more participative.
Yeah, they were more attentive than they were in the on-site
regular class, right?
I see.
Weird.
So, well, how about Playing and Mio? What do you think about this?
Like I say, just only the student that has that kind of issue, but for the overall performance, I think that for the remote teaching, we as a teacher has to create less fear on taking something that more look like a test, like Google Form. We have the student to practice online by themselves, but I will not use that as the test, like collecting that score from that. So I think that the student just use this as the practice without fear of being failed, because of it's the real test like in the regular class. So they just do whatever they want, and they ask me why that question answer this way.
Okay.
For me, I think like the online learning help them to receive the feedback immediately, because we can like set the feedback for the online exercise. For my lesson, I like divide my like class into like my fundamental in fundamental English course, which they have to learn with 2 periods a week. I just one period is for the online exercise for them, and another period is for online meeting, discussing what they have done in the online exercise or Q&A for the lesson. So like I found that they have their own choice to like to learn, because for the online meeting, not every student come to the online meeting, so I have to like record that meeting for them to choose whenever they want to learn with themselves. And I found that they have like they feel more comfortable to do the online exercise by their own. And like yeah, so I feel that they feel more comfortable to learn by themselves. And then like give some question, ask me in the online meeting or send me by the private message. Yeah.
Okay.
Very
So,
interesting.
yeah, this is something that I just thought about too. You know, like when we teach in the class, some students, when they have questions, they didn't really want to ask, right?
Yes.
But now that they don't get to see us in the class, when they have a question, they really have to ask.
To seize the moment. Right.
They can ask us privately as well. So that's why
Exactly.
they ask.
Yeah. When you run the like I'm using Zoom, right? So on Zoom, you know, we get the personal what do we call it, private message from some students. Yeah. So this is something that we didn't have, you know, the opportunity. If the student wanted to ask something, you know, everyone knows, right? In the real classroom. Quite interesting.
Yeah. I actually I was going to ask this question about the students' responses. Was it in the positive or negative responses? But so far, I'm learning that the students feel more comfortable joining the learning online. Better because they have more choices of how to interact with the teachers. Is that right?
For me, in my class, they tend to type in the chat box, like I said. And another things that I observe is that whenever I put the question in my Google Classroom, like asking for their opinion, they like to share their opinion through writing rather than speaking live with me during the live session.
So they're braver.
Yeah. That rather than speaking, they tend to like express their opinion, their feeling through typing, writing on online.
Okay, that is one major difference that we can hardly find in an on-site classes. What about Nong Nat and Nong Playing? Are there any differences like this in your remote learning?
For me, for the big classes, when they're online, they tend to answer more. It's like when they were on site, they don't want to like draw attention on them. So they don't speak anything if they sit at the back of the class or in the middle. Because like some students were afraid that their friends will like, are you being a really good student? Something like that. But when they're online, they raise their hands to answer questions. Like they don't care about that anymore. And like actually I told them since the beginning of the semester, I keep telling the same thing. ตอบได้เลยนะคะตอบได้เลยนะคะผิดไม่เป็นไรนะคะ something like that. And then when my school asked all the teachers to do a survey, and I like just 5 questions and some comments, and some students wrote to me that I feel so good when the teachers say you can say anything, like I won't leave you alone, like in the class, something like that.
I see. Wow. And when you are now you have conducted these classes for a while, are there any things that you have to do, I mean, differently from the regular on-site classes? Anything that you haven't done before in an on-site, but nowadays you have to do it a lot in the remote learning session?
I am now familiar with using Google Meet. because I use
Okay.
it every single day.
Mm. What is the feature on Google Meet that you think is, good to support the students? Anything that you like, the feature on Google Meet?
On the Google Meet, right? I think that this one provide the student option, like the one who would like to remain silent during class and the one who would like to say. So they can choose whether they would like to speak it up or just typing. So I always say to the student that both way is the participation. It's better than just doing nothing, just attending in the Google Meet is not enough. You have to like at least typing or talking with me in the class.
Okay, so the chat feature.
Yeah, and it's easy to
Another
use.
option.
Yes, easy to use.
And are they willing to communicate with you in English? I mean, through typing?
What language, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I cannot hear. Can you repeat that again?
I mean, how do they communicate with you? I mean, they type in English.
Yes.
So they are willing to use English, right?
But it will be like short phrases or word, things like that. And the one who speak it up, just it is just the certain students who speak with me all the time.
Okay. But I can see that they feel more comfortable, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, something that we could not do in a real classroom. I mean, in a regular classroom.
Right.
Right. When you ask a question, the students have to normally respond to us orally.
Yeah.
But with this online classroom, there are two options: either speaking back or write, right, as a response.
Yes.
Okay.
And yes,
I was just going to ask, any other things that we have observed as a difference, or what do you do differently in this hybrid teaching?
For me, I think like we have like different process in on-site and online learning. So in online learning, I think like I have a role, like I am the host of TV program, that I have to like prepare something for them, and like I have to plan what they need to do first, or that what they need to prepare before like studying in online class. So we have to plan the announcement for them. We have to plan like these are the things that you have to prepare before learning with me online, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. And I think for the online learning, we have a lot to do, like check their attendance, or like get some information for them, or taking photos, or like report the results of the lesson, like when we finish the lesson. So like we have a lot of things to do online before and after the class. Like announcement form, or like report the results. Yeah, so we need to think more, like we need to think more about like what we need to do with them, and what we need to collect the information to like report each section, like the result, like the attendance. Because in my school we have like the system for the classroom attendance. So I need to create the QR code or the link for them to like click to log in for the class attendance in each period. Yeah. Yes, and then I have to like collect the information about the classroom attendance. Yeah, and then report the attendance, the result, the problems of the like the process to the administrative board, school board, something like that. Yeah. So I think we need to do a lot more than we do like in the on-site classroom.
So it takes longer time for you to
Yeah,
prepare
take longer
the
time,
lessons.
take a longer process.
I see.
I
But-
like, yeah, Mio, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add something like
Yes.
the teacher like us has to do so many things rather more than the regular one, but I can see a good thing from it, like both of the teachers and the student have to work systematically. We need to be informative and then get everything done with daily, so we will not lose any focus, and we will not lose any information each single day, because we have to finish within that day and then report, right, and then show it to the student. So I think that it's a good chance to like practice ourselves to work systematically and manage our time.
Totally agree. Yeah, this is one thing I like the most about this online teaching, with the in-class teaching, we collect students' papers and then we put them everywhere.
Yeah, put it away.
But now, everything is in one place. When you need to do all the calculation, it's there in files for you. This is what I love about, teaching online.
Do you really think that in the future, I mean the way the students come to school can be changed into hybrid learning like this?
I do.
And you agree with it, right?
I think that
yeah.
พี่เหมียวค่ะพี่เหมียว first.
Yeah, okay. I think that they finally be able to adapt themselves to be resilient in this kind of circumstances. So we have to do it and we have to get used to it, right?
Who says that the students are not ready, right? Okay, Nong Mat, sorry.
Like Pimio said, yeah, I agree with her. Like they will adapt themselves. For me, I don't feel good with hybrid classes right now, but yeah, we'll soon feel better.
Yeah.
But when not asked, like future, what do you mean by future? Future? Like when there's no pandemic, is it possible that schools are run this way, right?
Yes. Because I in my situation, I mean, when I teach university students, they seem to respond to online classes very well because they can manage their own time better. They can start learning. I mean, like education 4.0, anywhere, anytime. They can choose the means of their learning. And for me myself, I'm thinking about applying for an online PhD program at a university abroad. So it seems to be more possible for me to access to education. So that's why I asked that maybe when the pandemic is over, is it possible for the compulsory education, the platform of learning can be changed? I mean, after we have proved that it's possible, and the students nowadays they have learning skills to meet with the requirement for online learning or hybrid learning like this. Yeah. That's my thought.
Plain, do you want to say something first before
For me, I think in the future, the way of like their learning style will be change. For I found that some students ask me like when I have to collect their papers works, they will ask like, can I send it to the Google Classroom so I can send it? So I will say yes, you can. So I think in the future maybe like less paperwork for them, so they will like have they will feel free to like send their works to the online platform. Yeah. And we can like meet them for like the extra class to review the lesson before they have an exam. Yeah. That the thing that I have found from them.
Okay.
I just want to add just briefly, responding to this question. I don't know if the regular like schools will be changed to be, hybrid or not, but at least I really think that we will start blending, right? So there'll be some activities that we know that if we run it online, the students can choose, as you said, when to do it, how much time they want to spend, where to, right? So there'll be this blended learning like automatically, I think, in the future. So that's one possibility that I can see. Another possibility that I think this pandemic has really shown us is that we now can learn from anywhere. As Bandit now, you see now the reality, right, of online learning, taking online classes. In the past, we might still be kind of afraid of learning online. Yeah, but now we know how to do it. And another advantage or opportunity I see is we still have a lot of students who are in like, remote areas, for example. Now they don't really have access to, can I say, high quality teachers or high quality schools. Maybe in the future, they don't need to commute to be, in the big city anymore. They can enroll in schools in the big city, but studying from home. So I think it really depends on our management system, right? But now we know that we can support those students.
Wow. Actually, can I ask one last question?
Yes, please.
At the very beginning, I heard a lot of you saying the word challenge, quite challenging challenges. But at this time, at the end of this session, you showed that it can be a good possibility, not only for the teachers, but also for the students to get access to the quality education. And since you are the teachers in this big change, are there any areas that you would like to learn more or to improve yourselves to improve the quality of hybrid learning in your own classes? Anything else that you would like to improve or enhance?
I would like to enhance myself on using educational applications. I would like to know more, just to engage my student with my lesson more.
Yes.
So for me, it would be like more.
But Miao, how many programs have you trained yourself during this time? The new applications, new programs.
The new one, actually, I use it just keeping the vocabulary set in that application on that website, Quizlet. But I never use it live like Kahoot game. It's work like a Kahoot game, and it kind of fun. The student get excited when I use this in the online teaching.
So Quizlet,
yes.
Okay, to test vocabulary, right? To learn.
Yes, yeah. We can teach, test, or doing the game with the student.
Right. Okay.
น้องนัทครับ
For me, it's more like a time management skill. Like when I have to plan the lesson for online classes, it takes more time. So I don't have enough time for grading or checking on my students' homework. And Now, lots of homework are in the assignment thread in my Microsoft team, and I haven't checked it yet. And it's like, I'm more comfortable with the paper things. Now I have to like download students' work and then edit it. But I know like paperless is better, but yeah, I'm still not comfortable with that.
One step at a time.
Or reduce the assignment.
No, sometimes I cannot. It's like all the teachers agree that, okay, we are going to assign this, and I can't say anything.
I see. So the whole level is really the same. Okay.
น้องเพลงครับ
For me, I want to like improve my like technology skills for like teaching, because I think that for the new way of learning, we need to depend a lot on the technology, not only the education apps, but we need to like learn more about each program to help us to plan, to manage our lesson and evaluation. Yeah, so for me, I just know like the basic program like Microsoft Office, but for in this period I need to like learn a lot about how to deal with the technology in the classroom. Yeah, so
really a good opportunity for learning for the teacher.
Oh,
okay. This is really a fun conversation. I'm really happy to hear all of these experiences that you all have. I know the situation is not easy, but at least we are enjoying, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there are things that we have never had to do before, but we also see the benefits for the students and also for ourselves. I think I also have improved a lot in this past year, having to change the mode to be online. Okay, so I guess we have to close for the live session, and thank you very much. First, P. Bandit, right? To help moderate the session, and then Kru Nat, Kru Phleng, and Kru Miao for joining the session and sharing the experiences from your classrooms. You know, the good thing about this session is, I think, because we are from quite different school contexts. Nat is teaching in demonstration school, right? So the equipment and the devices may be, you know, more like full scale.
Yeah.
With the wireless microphone and stuff. And Kru Phleng and Kru Miao will represent probably the classrooms, right? Most of the classrooms in public schools in Thailand. Bandit and I are, you know, from university level kind of situation, and I think we are facing something similar, but because you know the different context, we also help support our work differently as well. Right? Okay, so thank you very much for this. Let's now close with the YouTube live.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me นะครับอาจารย์
Thank you so much. Bye.
ครับ Thank you ครับ